Mr. 7734, or should I say hello and good day? I'm Paula Escoribe from ABM 11 YA-7. I'm more excited to explore mathematics and share my chosen topic. Function. A function is a between relation two variables that exhibit an apparent connection. It is also correspondence or rules that pairs each element of domain with exactly one element of the range. But first, what is correspondence? Correspondence consists of a pair between two quantities. For example, a person corresponding to an eye and a house corresponds to a door. Domain is a set of all inputs for the function. Reminder, it is the input, the independent variable, and it represented by variable x. However, range is a set of all the outputs. Again, it is the outputs, the dependent variable, and it is represented by variable y. Defined as an equation, a table, a set of order pairs, a mapping diagram, and a graph. How can we say that an order, pair, table, or mapping diagram is a function? It is simply look at the x-coordinator, and if it's repeated, it is not a function. For example, the sets of order pairs is a function because the inputs are different. As you can see, at the x-coordinates, the domains are different and each order pairs. But this order pair is not a function because input pair is repeated 2 times. Here are the example of the function and not function in the tables and mapping diagrams. At the first table, we can say it is a function because look at the input. There is no repeated number, so it is a function. Now, look at the second table. We can say it is not a function because as you can see, at that input, the constant 2 is repeated 2 times. At the first example for mapping diagram, we can say it is a function because look at the input, is it well distributed for the output? But look at this example number 2 for mapping. Is it not a function because look at the negative 8 constant term. It is distributed to 2 output which is 6, negative 6 and 1. So it is not a function. The next one is how we can say that a graph is a function. Just use the vertical line test. The vertical line test is a graphical method of determining whether a curve in the plane represents the graph of a function by visually examining the number of intersections of the curve with vertical lines. Or in short, if each vertical lines in the rectangle coordinate system passes through at most one point of the graph, then it is not a function. But if it passes through or 2 more points is the graph, it is not a function. For example, this is a function because when you put a vertical line in it, it will just through 1 point. Here. The second table is not a function. This graph is not a function because once you put a vertical line in it, it will pass through points 1, 2. Get it? Let's continue. Lastly, how can we define an equation if it is a function? It's not a function if it creates more than one output or y. It only requires one output for an equation to be called a function. Now, for these videos, we are going to have a basic introduction on operation of function, and we're going to find its domain, and these are the fundamental operation that you need to know. F plus x of x equals to f of x plus g of x. F minus g of x equals f of x minus g of x. F of x equals f multiplied to g of x. F over g of x, f of x over g of x, where g of x cannot be 0. Look, at the first example of equation, we have here y is equal cube root of 8 and y cube root of negative 8. The cube root of 8 is 2. And the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. These two equations just come out with one output, so it is a function. For the last example, for this equation, we have here y is equal to 6 root of 3 raised to 3 minus 15. But first, we need to find the answer for this 3 cube minus 15. 3 cube is 27 minus 15. It is equal to 12. So, what is the 6th root of 12? The 6th root of 12 may be 1.51 and negative 1.51. It creates two outputs, so it is not a function. That will be all for my discussion. Now, it's your time to analyze and answer my following activities. Are you ready? Do you absorb all the pieces of information that I've given to you? Now, let's start. Letter A. Determine whether the pairs order, table, and mapping diagram is a function. Job well done! Do you answer it with confidence? Or are you still doubtful about your answer? If you are still confused, you can always check this video of mine for a recap. Before I end this video, I'd like to leave this quotation from William Paul Thurston. Mathematics is not about numbers, equation, computation, or algorithm. It is about understanding, so take your time understanding every lesson and you will get it. Once again, I am Paula Esbariben and see you next time.